Hey guys, it's Jo, otherwise known as Apselene. I just wanted to introduce myself, or more so my voice, to this YouTube channel. If you're new here, hello again, I'm Apselene, and this is my little video spot where I post random artsy videos, usually speed paints, animation, and other experimental things. Before I start the tutorial, I just wanted to say thank you all for the support and kind words you guys have left me on my videos. I really do appreciate it. And as per request, I'm going to do a tutorial on my process of painting, so I hope you enjoy. So to start off this tutorial, I'd like to point out that this is going to be a redraw of the first Apselene Doodle Speedpaint I did, which was of that puppy a little while back. Although I've been doing digital art for a while, I barely ever tapped into the painterly side of drawing and decided to just crack down and practice and learn. So that puppy painting was basically the start of that. Anyway, I'm nervous for my first tutorial and I'm talking way too much. So first things first, the process that's being shown on the screen is a warm-up drawing. It's always good to do a warm-up before you tackle any bigger projects such as painting. You just gotta take like 10 to 30 minutes before you paint and draw something cool, something related to your final painting, just to basically get you in the mood and the flow of drawing so you aren't just stuck on the first pen strokes of like a final piece. I decided to draw Mars Argo because I like drawing her and I know I can push out a mini caricature of her to warm me up. While warming up, try not to spend too much time on the details. I'm a big victim of being too detailed on something that doesn't need it, but trust me, it doesn't need it.
Separated from my one and only. What's there left to say?
The first step of my process is the sketch. I usually cut this part out in most of my speed paints because it gets kind of lengthy and boring to watch, in my opinion, but I won't cut it out for the sake of this video. As you can see, in some points I'm copying, inverting, and pasting, but honestly it's not a horrible thing to do when it comes to sketching before a painting. If you don't have a very good eye for symmetry, there's no problem with it. Just remember that the face isn't exactly symmetrical anyway, it's just a tool to get proportions and placement where you want it to be. In a fully rendered painting, it's not a very good choice to make if you want your painting to look organic.
Please don't take my love away. Let my baby stay.
Now I'm blocking in flat colors underneath of the line art layer. I set my line art layer to shade and set the opacity very low so the lines only show faintly. This will help with edge shading when we start painting. For Poppy, her colors are a bit difficult to apply because of how similar the hues are to each other, but at the same time, I didn't want to sample the colors from the reference exactly, because then it would put me in the mindset to be more realistic than I aim to be. So I matched the colors and brightened them when necessary while still keeping them distinguishable from each other. When I shade, I put a layer clipped over that flat layer and set that layer to shade as well. I choose a bright shading color like purple or red to shade skin. For this painting, the shades are going to be a bit desaturated for the look. I block in medium shades first, then highlights, and then dark shades in their respective places.
Been working at it half of my life.
After that, I merge all my layers and work on a single layer and paint away.
And she's been good to me.
I recommend painting on a single layer so it's less confusing as you go along. As for my brushes, I switch between settings a lot while drawing, but I always have one painting brush like this and one special brush for adding harder shades and highlights while I paint. The harder brush allows me to define lines when I need to. I aim for a look of softness, but not too airbrushed. It's difficult to find a good balance, but painting takes time and patience to put what you think and see onto a canvas. My tip for shading is to use 2 brushes, one for painting and blending and one for throwing down hard shades and highlights. Try not to blend all sides of a shade unless necessary. Keep some parts semi-celled and some parts painted. It will add more interesting dimensions to your shading. Also, a big tip is to remember to utilize the eyedropper and sample the colors and use them again in other portions of the painting. This will give you a good balance and help you eventually distinguish even the tiniest of hue and value difference and use it to your advantage. This tip will also help you avoid shading only with a single color. For this drawing here, I'm using peaches, violets, browns, and yellows, giving myself a wider spectrum of color for a more lively and interesting painting.
From my one and only, what's there left to say? Far as I can tell, that day could be on its way. So please don't take my love away. Let my baby stay. Let my baby stay.
For the final touches, I use Gimp. I toggle the face with the warp tool for a quick fix, nothing too drastic. And then I change the color balance. I'm a big fan of blue shades and magenta midtones. I mess around with some little graphic designs and then I'm finished.